I'm MT with MT Promises to You. Now we're here today to talk about a crazy subject, which is pot versus milk. What is the real gateway drug? Now with Biden getting ready to reschedule pot from the Schedule 1 list, it's time to finally ask the hard question of what is the real gateway drug? Is it pot or is it milk? And what schedule should milk be scheduled on or rescheduled to? We gotta ask those hard questions now. I'm concerned about the young kids of America. Now, marijuana is on Schedule 1. Let's look at the Schedule 1 drugs that are on there with marijuana. We got everything like from heroin, peyote, whatever you want to say. Then you got this thing called methicillone. Is that something you put on your body to attract the opposite sex? I don't know. And then you got this thing called ecstasy! Right? What is that about? Those aren't associated with pot. Pot does none of those bad things to you. Then we go on to Schedule 2, controlled substances. Oh my God, these things consist of hydromorphone? Is that like a phonograph? What is that? Methadone, oxycodone, which is really Oxycontin, and you got fentanyl, and you got Percocet. Perk your ass right up, right? There you go. Wow, this schedule has some more high potential for abuse. Now this will lead to a lot of different things like severe psychological or physical dependence, kind of like what milk does. Now milk seems nice, but is it? Really, is it? Milk is something almost every red-blooded American grows up on, but is milk really not the real gateway drug here? I kind of have to think about it just might be. So, milk is great, but since we don't smoke it, we don't smoke milk, but we do drink milk, which leads us to other drinking habits like drinking orange juice, apple juice, Tang, Hawaiian Punch, right? Things like that. Then you got all kinds of things like other sodas. Now there's a subject to talk about, or should we just say diabetes in a can? Wow, diabetes in a can. And who should be responsible for picking up those health problems? The soda companies or the American taxpayer? I don't know. That's a time for to talk about something else at another time during Empty Promises to You. So let's go on here. Now then, when you start looking at that, you might be led into things like beer, right? Drinking milk, drinking sodas, orange juice. It's gonna lead you to beer. What 15-year-old little young man or woman doesn't drink beer in high school or even better, middle school? I had friends that were making wine back in the day and we drank it during gym class. What is that about? That's drinking, right? And the only reason they got to drink because they got out the mom's breast, and then they started drinking milk, and then they started drinking sodas, orange juice, everything else, and pretty soon you're drinking beer, wine. Then that's going to only lead to things like liver failure, heart disease, along with a whole host of other problems like domestic violence. And you know what? Violence comes along with drinking. I know, I've drank many a times, and I said smoked pot. Crazy, but I have. It sounds good though, right? So, when you're drinking, all that violence, it's gonna lead you to prison and or death. Who knew milk was that dangerous? Now, let's go to our correspondent, Lair Bear. He's over at the New Start Counseling Center. Lair Bear, what do you got going on over there?
Your guess is as good as mine, MT. I've been staying over here all day. Sun's almost high noon, been knocking, banging on the doors, walking around the whole building trying to get somebody to answer the question. Pot versus milk, which is the gateway drug? But of course, the party bosses, on their little high rants, they don't want to talk any seriousness. They just want to do the BS that they always throw out. So, I'll stand here and give it a couple more hours, MT, but back to you.
Thank you, Lair Bear. Thanks for the great reporting over at the New Start Counseling Center. We'll get back to you soon. Thanks a lot. So, now what does pot really do? Now, I have drunk and I've seen the effects of alcohol as well as pot, and drinking has always led me to trouble. 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 We're not even talking about drinking and driving, getting drunk and doing those things. Would pot do that to you? Really? I don't know. So you can see what the effect of milk is really happening on people here today. It's leading to DUIs. crazy, right? Now pot, on the other hand, this is gonna lead you to what? The nearest convenience store. You're gonna go in that convenience store and you're gonna rent yourself a Slurpee, a bag of chips, with a pint of Ben & Jerry's Chubby Hubby, because everyone knows you don't buy a Slurpee, you rent them! Because you know it's coming out, right? Heck, if you're a smart pothead, you're gonna get all that stuff beforehand. You're not gonna go out and get it while you're high and try to walk around. You wanna chill out. That's why they call it indica. Couch is where you're gonna end up being at nighttime. Indica, right? Okay, we also know that, you know, pot and, you know, smoking it and do that could cause diabetes long term, as well as maybe the occasional heart disease from eating all this too many 7-Eleven roller food, Ben & Jerry's, all the processed food from the corporate foods, or do we want to say the party bosses? Okay, smoking pot might cause diabetes and or the occasional heart disease. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Heck, I've already had 6 stents put in my heart. Larry Bear, how many stents do you have?
I got 1.
See, there you go. 7 stents between the two of us, and we still smoke pot. I mean, no, drink milk. I mean, drink alcohol. I mean, what? I don't know. Jesus Christ, what's going on here? We're straight shooters here, okay? All right. So we know that pot's gonna cause diabetes. It can, but that's a conversation for another time when we start talking about the corporate food process and all the party bosses, right? So, but I gotta ask that, isn't why God made, or whoever made edibles? Edibles are fine. Now you're not smoking, there's no lung disease anymore. What are we talking about? All right, go ahead and leave your comments below and make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. This is MT with MT Promises to you. Good day and good journeys to all.